Hi everyone, Connor for Courage, and I'm here with veteran Kelsi Sheren. You will have obviously watched her trigonometry interviews or her chat with Jordan Peterson, because hundreds of thousands of people have. Kelsi, I wanted to frame this question because you've spoken out a lot about MAID in Canada. In the UK at the moment, we've got an assisted dying bill going through Parliament. It's in the committee reading stages. Some members of Parliament are questioning why they voted for it. So half the Reform Party decided to vote yes on sort of libertarian grounds, and MPs like Rupert Lowe are very strong and going, well, hang on a minute. They've just removed the requirement to have a judge to sign off on the death warrant, and they've now just put it in the hands of independent experts. And this MP, Kim Leadbeater, who's pushed it on behalf of the assisted dying lobby, has said it's going to be the most robust, safeguarded bill ever before. And now MPs are going, well, it doesn't look like there's many safeguards here. The reason I asked that, Canada's MAID started off with those promises of safeguarding, didn't it?
Yes, they did.
How's it ended up?
Well, it's ended up with so many individuals using it who do not only not qualify, they're using it as a treatment solution to an end-of-life situation. When the majority of the people at this point that we have seen that are using this bill, they don't want to die, Connor. They want to live, but it's either too expensive, they don't have anyone to look after them, or frankly, they're just so depressed that they're using it as the treatment solution to depression disorders. Now, to be very fair, it is still illegal to do that in Canada, yet we are finding it as the comorbidities on people's death certificates. The other thing that's a lot scarier about Kim in particular is Kim is speaking about this from a very callous place. And she is somebody we have now known and looked into enough to go that she leans on the lines of eugenics. And it's very disturbing because when you start to see people pushing things like MAID or assisted dying as a treatment option and saying things like, we are going to have the most robust safeguards, it's hard to believe that when one of the biggest countries that has had this program has shown time and time again, we have the weakest safeguards. We no longer really allow or need for more than 2 doctors. And the doctors that we have, we see other doctors abusing that. So here's a great example. Dr. Ellen Wiebe from Vancouver has been proven to abuse the system enough where there are criminal cases being brought against her. So much so that an individual that was in a psych ward left on a day pass from St. Paul's Hospital, and she mated him that afternoon. Now, the thing that people don't understand is that, yes, you need 2 doctors. She's using one of her friend's doctors to be the second.
I'm stunned. I shouldn't be shocked because you've heard examples of people being offered MAID because they needed a stair lift or because they were veterans or because
friends of mine, yes.
Quite, yeah. The worry I obviously had is that this is going to trickle down to just mental health issues and the like. And the perverse incentive is to expand the number of conditions because in the UK we have socialised medicine. We also have socialised pensions. The bill is coming due. We have an inverse demographic pyramid, and someone in the pages of the Times, who are just over my shoulder there.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, he wrote that, yes, there's going to be a pressure on the elderly to expedite the demise, but we can't afford a taboo on assisted dying, and so if we let them hasten their death, this will save us money. Now, is that the same excuse being used? The bill is coming due for socialised medicine in Canada.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, we've had this conversation before. People say, stay away from the numbers, Kelsi. Stay away from the idea that they're saving money. The fact of the matter is they are saving money. Yes, that's not the biggest problem about it. The biggest problem is the vulnerable population. Liz Carr from your beautiful country has said time and time again, she's a disabled activist, and she has said, Kelsi, part of the problem is once the bill is in, you do not get to decide what is amended into it. So I have a story for you that nobody will cover. Are you ready?
Yep.
A friend of mine is a UK veteran. He came to me 2 days ago and he said, Kelsi, I went into the hospital and they suggested MAID to me. I wrote a Substack on it 2 days ago. February 4th, this just happened to a UK veteran.
Blimey.
He is a veteran who struggles with post-traumatic stress disorder, is under the care of another doctor, and went into the emergency because he was going through suicidality once again. And the doctor sat him down. We call him Dr. A. We're not going to call him out. The police have been brought in to discuss this. But you don't hear anyone having a conversation about it. One of the things I wish people in the UK would hear, which, by the way, Kim Leadbeater and Keir and all of your other lovely new leaders have reluctantly and are willing to hear Canadian evidence. They will not hear evidence from Canada. And what you need to understand about that is you have so much profound evidence coming from Canada right now, including Alicia Duncan's mother. You'll know of Alicia Duncan's story because we were both in the Maid documentary in Canada. She was in the BBC documentary out here with Liz Carr, where she's told the story of her mother. And her mother was just in a simple car accident who had a mild traumatic brain injury and could not access care in a socialized healthcare system, just like the UK. And she not only tried to kill herself, but a few days after she attempted it, she was mated in the country. Here's why this is sinister. On Jordan Peterson, I had read Dr. Joel Zivit's testimony, the 25-year anesthesiologist who runs Emory State College University in the United States, who's also Canadian, who specializes in critical care. This is the doctor who understands anesthesiology like no one else. He had done the very first autopsy gathering of lethal injection patients in lethal injection prison members, patients, if you will, in the United States. And they found a high percentage of them were coming out with heavy lungs that was indicative of death by drowning or death by waterboarding. As of 24 hours ago, Alicia reported to me and Joel reported, we finally, because there was a criminal investigation into her mother's death, which seems to be allegedly a wrongful death at this point, we got a hold of her autopsy report and it shows pulmonary edema, which is indicative of death by drowning or death by waterboarding.
Right, so we are treating some of the most vulnerable members of civilization in Canada and soon to be in the UK, actually worse than we do murderers on death row, because it takes much longer for the state to actually kill them, sign it off in a weekend.
Yes, well, here's where it can get a little more uncomfortable. Yes, people will say, Kelsi, but they are not the same drugs. Here's why I say it's worse. In Canada, under the NIH, it states what is in our MAID kits. Very, very well stated, very clear. Canada includes a paralytic, okay? So that carries its own sinister notion. Why do you need to paralyze somebody if it's so painless and it's so beautiful and it's so empathetic and loving? Why would you need to paralyze them? Secondly, a point that is not being brought forward or questioned, and I would encourage, again, the Parliament members in the UK to let us have this conversation. Invite us over, we will fly on our own dime. None of these drugs have been FDA approved for killing. When is the last time you remember a drug being allowed to be given to the public when it was never FDA approved? How are we using these drugs to end life when they have not been proven? And further, let's take it one step further, because as if we need to, Ellen Wiebe herself has said in the National Post, I use my own special cocktail, which tells me the drugs are not regulated. We don't know what they're using, which means we don't know how long it will take that patient to die, and we don't know the suffering involved. And I just had Amanda Ackman, who's here as well, on the show, on the Kelsi Sheren Perspective, and we went through the direct correlations and similarities to Hadamir Castle and what was done to those people and Canadians' healthcare system, and how they were learning how to kill someone the most efficiently and effectively. Canada is doing the same, and we are the world's cautionary tale. We are the bad actors, and the Trudeau administration has not only pushed this, but has made this a treatment option and not an end-of-life care, which there should be none of them. I'm opposed to killing. I'm opposed to end-of-life early, and most importantly, I'm opposed to expanding to those with mentally ill and mature minors, which, by the way, does not include an age. It's whether a doctor dictates and says that person is mature enough to make the decision to die. That is a terrifying notion, and that is coming to the UK.
Kelsi, courage is the name of the outlet. You've got it in spades.
Thank you, my friend.
Pleasure as always.
Thank you, love.